We should be live. Let's talk about a toddler struggle that so many of us face when your toddler just doesn't want to play by themselves anymore, or if they're younger, maybe not at all. They haven't quite started yet, but I just have to quick adjust my camera. If you have ever tried to sneak away for 30 seconds only to hear the "Mama, where are you?" before you've even made it to the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever it is you're trying to do, let me know in the comments because I know I'm not the only one going through this phase pretty regularly. Whether your toddler used to play independently or has always needed some extra encouragement and attention, solo play can feel impossible some days, especially after big changes, things like new switching beds, new sibling in the house, things like that. So if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And the good news is we can build independent play skills without leaving our toddlers feeling abandoned or upset all the time. And with that, welcome to Toddler Tip Tuesday Live. I'm Jess, and today I'm sharing a simple trick, which I call the play then peek method, which is just a gentle way to encourage independent play while keeping your toddlers feeling safe and connected, kind of building up those independent skills for them. So, first we're going to talk about why is independent play so hard to begin with. So, before we jump in, let's just talk a little bit about this struggle for them. One reason it is such a struggle is that they crave connection. They need to feel emotionally safe before they can separate from you. It's just how they're wired, especially if you're their safe person. The second thing, a lot of toddlers kind of have FOMO. They have that fear of missing out. So if you're busy doing something, it doesn't matter what it is, to them, they want in on it. It's cool, it's different, it's new, doesn't matter. The third reason is because they need practice. Playing alone is a skill that takes time and patience to build. It's something they have to learn, and we have to help them to learn it. And then, like I mentioned earlier, big life changes. In our house, new sibling was the big change, but it can be a host of changes, whether a change in schedule, it can be bedtime routine changes, something like a new bed, can make even the most confident kids clingy. So if your toddler suddenly needs you more than ever, it's not a step backwards. It's a totally normal part of their development. So let's talk a little bit about this strategy, the play then peek method. So this is what you're going to do. Your first step is you're going to start with focused play. So what does that look like? You're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes really connecting with them before stepping away. Whatever it is that they want to play with, you're going to jump in, you're going to sit down, follow their lead, let them feel like you've completely filled up their attention, like their cup. They say, like, fill their bucket, fill their cup. So completely fill up their attention cup first. Your second step is going to be to kind of like give a light warning to them, like, I'll be right back, very quick. And then after a few minutes of playing together, it's just something casual you're going to throw in, like, oh, I'm real quick, going to grab a snack. I'll be right back. You keep building your tower. I'll be right back. Keep it simple. Keep it positive and casual, and no big emotional goodbye. Like, don't make a big deal about it. Quick. Oh, I'm just going to go real quick, get a snack. Be right back. Like, super quick. Your third step is to stay nearby and peek often. That's kind of where that peek comes in. So you're going to stay within eyesight and earshot at first. Peek back with a smile or a quick comment like, wow, you've added so many blocks. I'll be there in 2 seconds. It's all about building that trust that they're not with you, that they're not alone. So keep peeking in, stay within earshot. Your fourth step would be to gradually stretch the time and distance. So over time, you're going to start taking longer with whatever it is you're telling them you're doing, and you're going to start moving farther and farther away before peeking back and checking back in with them. So maybe you fold some laundry. I do it at the kitchen table, like when we're working on this skill. It's something I can see her. We have like a knee wall, a half wall. I can see over, and she can see me. So maybe eventually doing things like this, you can start to finally maybe drink a hot coffee and get tiny stretches where you're building up big confidence for them. And then over time, you hopefully can get to a point where you might even be able to go to the bathroom by yourself or do things like that where they will be able to stay and independently play for a few minutes. Still, pretty close, but you're getting a couple minutes of not having to sit there and be exactly with them. Now, some troubleshooting tips. So, what if they cry and chase you? Because this was a big one in our house. So, if they cry or follow you right away, like don't panic. What you need to do is you need to acknowledge their feelings. Oh, you missed me. It's okay. I'll play with you again after I grab a quick snack. So, kind of like, don't completely not like do it, but acknowledge their feelings and kind of, okay, like I know you're feeling this way. I'll be right here. I'll be right over here, and kind of do it that way. You can also try to offer a transition object, like whether it's a stuffed animal, a book, something like, oh, just read this real quick book, and then this page of this book, when I come back, tell me what happened. Or, I mean, not that they're really reading; they tend to just describe the pictures, but or like their teddy bear, like, oh, Mr. Teddy Bear is gonna be right here with you until I get right back. So you can try some type of transition object. And worst comes worst, you can actually even just shorten the time away and start with like a matter of seconds. Like just step away for seconds to go get a tissue. Like strategically place, think about this ahead of time, but strategically place like a box of tissues across the room and just get up for 30 seconds and go get a tissue. Like, oh, I'm just going to get a tissue. And then make sure you praise the attempt. So, oh, you played all by yourself while I went to go get that tissue, and kind of build from there. And again, it depends just how, clingy your child is at the moment, if, they're stage 4 clinger or not. But hopefully eventually you get up to the point where you might be able to even put some dishes away, which would be like amazing. And then just remember that the goal isn't perfect separation. It's you're building trust with tiny wins over time. So even if you have to scale way down to that little 30-second to get a tissue, or if you're able to start with quick going to the fridge and getting a drink of water or something like that, or it might be something in the middle, but eventually building up over time. So what you're going to try to do is, so remember, play intentionally for 5 to 10 minutes before stepping away. Then you try taking the short break, giving them that kind of heads up, like, oh, I'll be right back real quick in a minute during that playtime. Stay close, peek often, and then just keep celebrating those successes. And over time, grow the distance, and then also grow the time that you're away. And then going forward, you're just going to continually stretch that time little by little. And hopefully, if you're like me, you're dreaming of that hot coffee. You might even be able to sit down and enjoy your coffee for maybe 5 minutes if you're lucky, because toddlers will be toddlers no matter what. And just remember that consistency and connection is what's going to give you a confident, independent toddler. So, a couple quick Q&As that came up. As you know, I always post this on socials, and I always send out the email blast with the blog post that this originates from to my email list. And one of the questions I kind of talked a little bit about a minute ago, but I got this actually from quite a few people, was what if my toddler cries every time I step away? And that's normal. We went through that. My suggestion is to shorten that time even smaller, and then keep peeking back at them to kind of reassure them. And you can, even if it helps, attach something to it. For my daughter, it was high five. So we just would do like a high five, and then she kind of started to outsmart me though, and she started adding things to our high five routine. So it was like a high five, a fist pump. She started adding this whole big thing. So then we had to work on scaling that back down. But just I'm going to give you a quick high five. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Quick high five. I'll be back in a minute. So you can attach something like that, a signal like that they get comfortable with and know. Another question I got was, what if they stop playing and they come find you right away? And that's also very normal. I feel like that happens the most when you're trying to go to the bathroom or do something like that, right? But bring them gently back to where their spaces that you're having them play, and try again. And then just keep the separation very short at first. Think those really short, small increments. Someone else had asked me, had sent me a DM asking, what if they used to play independently and then they suddenly won't anymore? So we kind of went through this too. For us, like I said, that was a very big change when we brought my son home, especially because he was a NICU baby. So he was in the NICU for 6 weeks. So that was a really challenging, tough time. But also developmental triggers and leaps. Developmental leaps can cause clinginess and can kind of be a trigger for clinginess. clinginess. Sorry, it's late. I would just still use the play then peak method and just rebuild slowly from there. It's not a completely lost skill. It's not a bad reflection on you as a parent. It just happens. Like sometimes toddlers go through small regressions. It's not even really a true regression. It's just like a setback because they're going through something, and they will come out on the other side if you stay consistent and continue to do this. Another question I got was how long, this was a good one. So how long should toddlers realistically be able to independently play? It depends on your toddler, and toddlers are notorious for having short attention spans. However, some toddlers need a much shorter increment of time, and I would start with the 1 to 5 minute range as an average and build up from there. And just remember, progress. The goal is progress, not perfection. There is no perfect number. Every kid is different. So you just want to try to show progress by building slowly over time. And like I said, for some people, you are going to have to scale way back to 30 seconds. But for some, you're already starting right in that 1 to 5 minute range. So you're kind of just working up. The goal would be to try to get closer to that 10 to 15 minute range if you can. But some kids can go for 20 minutes and play independently. It truly depends on your toddler. And there's not a 100% correct answer for 100% of kids. Another question I got was about forcing independent play, especially if they're already upset. So if they're already upset, you definitely do not know. The goal is to build confidence, not create more stress. So if they're upset, you want to just stop and reconnect and then try again later, because you don't want it to be completely jarring and you don't want it to feel almost traumatic to them. Because remember, they have very big feelings for little bodies. So to them, it will feel so traumatic. So if they're completely stressed out, hysterical, then you might have to back up for a minute. Now, obviously there's emergency situations that come up, like if you have to go to the bathroom, you can't hold it. There's been times where I've been juggling both the kids and I've had to just leave her for a second, but I immediately then try to then reconnect and build back up after. So I get it, but just do your best. And if it's avoidable and you can try to use that moment to reconnect, use it. And then someone else, similar question, but if they can only play independently for a minute or two, yes, a few minutes is a big win for a toddler, especially for some of our toddlers who are not quite at that 10, 15 minute mark yet. And that's okay. So start small and build up and celebrate those short bursts. Celebrate. Every minute counts for them. So if they're able to stack some blocks independently or build their Lincoln logs or color for a minute independently, that's a win, and celebrate it. And then just naturally stretch over time. Another person asked about leaving the room completely or stay in the room where they can still see or hear you. And I kind of talked about this earlier. And again, this is going to depend on where you kind of are in this process, in this continuum. And if you do have a stage 4 clinger or not, or if you're more like stage 2 or 3. But you definitely want to start by staying nearby where they can see you and hear you, or their spidey senses will immediately go up and it will crumble fast. So stay where they can see you and hear you, and then progress to moving out of the room. As their confidence builds, you're going to gradually move farther and farther away. Someone else asked about screen time, if that was considered independent play. You're going to get different opinions from different people about this, I'll be honest. In my opinion, screen time is not independent play. There will be people who disagree with me on this, but for me and the research that I've done and how I was taught when I was getting my degrees, is true independent play involves creative, hands-on, some type of activities, whether it's coloring, cars, blocks, dolls, some type of pretend play. My daughter builds forts with blankets, all those kind of things. Not sitting kind of zoned in on a device, I don't consider that independent play. But again, you might find other people or experts who think that's fine for independent play. I'm not saying you can't use screens at all. You can use them intentionally, but I just don't consider them a way to build confidence and creativity that normally come with independent play. So again, use them strategically, but not for this if you're trying to build the confidence and creativity of independent play. And then someone else asked about like some activities for suggestions, or yeah, some suggestions of activities to do to kind of encourage them to play independent play. So I'm big on the open-ended toys. Think like I just said, like blocks, any type of like kitchen items, it can be the toy items or like real items. I've gone to that where, my son loves to play with, just some Tupperware and beat on it with some spatulas. So that's sometimes what he likes. They can be like little figurines, they can be stuffed animals, you can have like actual like bins of toys, you can have sensory bins, anything that will spark their imagination and doesn't like do the play for them. You want something that they're actually like using and interacting with and kind of trying to create something or act out something. That would be like those kind of activities. They have like the duplex Legos. I think I mentioned Lincoln Logs earlier. There's so many different things you can use for independent play. And then someone else asked, what if my toddler claims to be bored the second I walk away? Boredom is good. Unfortunately, and again, there's going to be people who disagree with me about this, but some people don't like when kids are bored. But the reality is that boredom is what sparks creativity. So it's okay for kids to be bored. That's what makes them start to think differently and use the things around them and really gets those creative juices flowing. So it's not a bad thing. So I would, if it were me, I would validate their feelings. And no, I'm so sorry that you're bored. I didn't mean for you to feel bored. I'm sorry you feel that way. But then offer like a prompt, something like, well, I wonder what you could do with your animals today. Like without jumping in or entertain them immediately. So kind of validate their feelings and then kind of just steer them in a direction without actually like doing anything for them. Or you can even say like, oh, I wonder what could be built with the Legos today. I wonder if there's something that we could do with our stuffies. Maybe they need some attention, some love today. Something just like that to try to get them to focus on doing something with one of their toys instead of just saying, I'm bored. So that would be my suggestion for that. Let me just check real quick and see if there were any other comments that came up. Nope. So I think we're good. All right. And we made it in under 20 minutes today, which is awesome. So if you're feeling stuck getting your toddler to play independently, don't stress. It's okay. It's natural. But try the play then peak method this week. And if you do, let me know how it goes. You can tag me at Raising My Teenage Toddler on all your social channels. You can send me a DM. You can email me. I always personally respond to my DMs and emails. I love hearing all of your stories, and I love hearing questions when you try something and it either doesn't work or there was a hiccup or you need more ideas. I love hearing about it. I love helping and hearing about all the different toddler wins, even the tiny ones. So keep me posted, and I would love to hear what you have going on this week. And with that, thanks for hanging out with me today. It's great to see you, and I will see you next week for another Toddler Tip Tuesday live. And until then, happy playing. Bye.